All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming and sticking to the end of the day and saving the best for last. That's right. I must apologize for the runaround that our presenters have had today with the different switch in scheduling. So we were going where the app was telling us, and it's been a journey today. So they've been good and flexible, which I'm thankful. And just want to say, thank you all for coming here, and I'm excited to learn from everybody and to hear. So just to remind everyone, this session we're currently at is From Crisis to Connection, Youth-Centered Solutions Rooted in Harm Reduction, Culture, and Lived Experience. Kind of the format, how we're going to do is we'll have three different presenting teams. We'll do 20-minute present, 10 Q&A right after, and then roll into the next one. And I also just want to give a shout out to the Home Depot Foundation for sponsoring today's session. So first up, we are going to present or hear from Casey Sturrett and Lewis Rhodes from the Threshold Housing Society.
Thanks for coming. I'm glad we all made it here with the changes. Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that the work that we do takes place on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, specifically the Esquimalt and Songhees First Nations. We honor the rich history and their continued contributions to this land. Oop, goodness. I love a mouse, and I don't have one, so bear with me. My name's Casey Sturrett. I use she, her pronouns. I work for Threshold Housing Society. I am the manager of our supportive recovery program. I've been doing social work for about 15 years in a whole bunch of different capacities, and I'm really grateful to be here with you today.
Hi, everyone. My name's Lewis Rhodes. I have a background in education. I'm a a secondary school teacher, but more importantly for this work, I'm doing my master's at the School of Child and Youth Care at UVic. So I'm kind of, I guess, an in-between between the audience and the insiders at Threshold. I have a Threshold on my badge, but it's actually a misnomer. I'm with UVic. Didn't get a battlefield promotion at the conference, unfortunately, but I feel like I've been really lucky to have the kind of 2-year upfront view of how this organization runs and the wonderful people that run it and the good work they do. So I feel like I'll be a bit of an in-between for you guys today. So just to give you a bit of an overview of what we're going to go through today, we have our introduction, we have the overview of Threshold's SRP program, so the actual program that we're presenting on today. We have a quick overview. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I'm sure no one here came to listen to a grad student talk about their research methods of the research project we did in partnership with Threshold, and then the subsequent model that we've created out of the program and the research conducted together. And then, of course, we have questions afterwards. So, again, spoken as an outsider, but a big fan. Threshold is a great organization in the Victoria area that aims to prevent adult homelessness by providing safe housing, supportive services, and community for at-risk youth. Again, I was really excited to get the opportunity to study as part of my master's because working as a teacher, I've seen the transformative impact that having stable housing can have on students. Sometimes I think as a teacher, you see the school side of things, but you don't know what's happening on the other side of the equation. And having seen that firsthand for youth, it was just such an honor to get to actually be a part of the work that goes on at Threshold in a greater detail.
So supportive recovery program, you're going to hear me call it SRP because that's a long title, but it's an 8-bed live-in resource. This is what the house looks like, so it's quite beautiful. Youth can come live with us for up to 4 months, and during those 4 months, they work on their recovery in some sense. The age that we work with is 15 to 21, so we are bridging that gap of a youth transitioning into adult services, and that feels like a really important part of our program because it is really hard to turn 19 and suddenly be in detox with a 45-year-old man when you're a 19-year-old girl. So that is a really cool thing about our program. At SRP, we combine, case management, recovery programming, and all built around empowering youth to change their own lives. And something that you're going to hear us talk about today that makes SRP really cool and radical is the fact that we recognize that slips and relapse are part of it. It is not a place where punitive measures come in. That's actually the part of our work that we're most excited about, and the best work actually gets done. And so Lewis studied us, and from listening to me ramble, has created this really cool model. Yeah, and so we're going to tell you about that today. Oh, I'm still talking. At SRP, there are 5 foundations and things that we believe to be true that kind of guide everything that we do. We believe that youth have the right to live at risk, whether we like it or not. We believe that recovery, harm reduction, and youth can all be said in the same sentence and work really well and have really beautiful outcomes. We believe in unconditional positive regard and relentless engagement, no matter what the youth throws at us, metaphorically or physically. And finally, everything comes down to this. We believe that dead kids don't recover. We will say that several times. If you take nothing else from us, dead kids don't recover. And so those are our foundations of SRP.
So again, as quickly as I possibly can, without missing anything important, just to give you kind of a high-level overview of the research project that we conducted. I was brought in by a professor at UVic, Doug Magnuson, in 2022. Again, I was already really impressed by the work Threshold did as an outsider perspective. So again, I jumped at the opportunity to do it. And it's one of those things, once I started spending time at the actual facility, getting to know the staff, getting to see them work a little bit with the youth residents, you kind of know a really caring, quality program when you see it. Putting it into like a actual tangible model that can be replicated or explained easily is a whole other question. So that was the thing that and both Doug and I both felt like this was a really interesting thing that was going on. Really great staff, really high quality work, tons of love and caring in a facility that really does kind of the intersection of 2 of the most challenging kinds of human services work. Being in the school system, you see kids for an hour or 2 or 3 a day. Knowing that people work in contexts where you're working with residents 24/7 is a whole other ball of wax. So what we were kind of most drawn to was kind of seeing what the staff, because in all honesty, working on a shoestring budget, and just trying to see if this was even viable as a study. The easiest kind of entry point was the staff perspective. So we got data collected through staff end of shift logs, and then we ended up doing more in-depth research or in-depth interviews with I think 14 staff, Casey included, and with the goal of understanding what moves the needle, what makes the difference for youth at the facility. So really kind of trying to understand what harm reduction is, like what's the substance of harm reduction, which is the cheesy pun of my master's project. And again, there really is a gap in the literature. There's lots of adult harm reduction literature. There's a significant amount of youth literature about residential care, but there's nothing really insofar as this is concerned. So I feel like as a recovering theory phobe, I was kind of hesitant to feel like I was doing anything super meaningful by creating a model or a framework or something abstract. But there's a good Kurt Lewin quote I really like that says, "There's nothing as practical as a good theory." And Casey's reassured me that she does find this helpful in practice. So that's really good. And essentially what we were trying to get at is like the main problem we were faced with, I think when we started studying the data and talking to staff, was the kind of generality problem. There's 2 really broad concepts, harm reduction and recovery. Harm reduction can be kind of classified as anything that reduces harm, depending on who you talk to, and recovery is any positive change, depending on who you talk to. So these two really broad concepts left us with a kind of feeling like if anything is harm reduction or anything is recovery, how do you really codify and structure that and ultimately replicate it elsewhere? So what we came away with was this 6-tier model that we're going to go through one by one. The bottom are kind of the foundational pieces of the model. So therapeutic residential care, your recovery program, which would probably be something you would consider, you would expect to see in any kind of recovery program. I feel like it's the actual programming that happens is unique to Threshold, but probably something that if you ever have experience with Smart Recovery or 12-step program, that kind of thing. Behavioral interventions are the 3rd tier. So at that tier is more the in-the-moment intervention. So in terms of if a youth has come in with a particular goal, but they're starting to slide from that, or if they're wanting to use their drug of choice, what are the kind of strategies that you can use to either slow that down, delay it, distract, that kind of thing. Next, we kind of get into the least controversial of the top half of the pyramid, which is the substance-related interventions. The first one is the PRN medication interventions, followed by substance-related interventions, so allowing youth to use cannabis and nicotine if needed as a way to cope. And then finally, the plan slips and supervised use, which I guess is the most, kind of the edgiest or the most controversial aspect of what goes on at SRP.
So as Louis noted, the foundational piece of this pyramid is therapeutic residential care. It is relationship. HRRY says the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. And so without this foundation, the other pieces of the pyramid don't work as well. This is the daily interactions with the youth, the individual approaches. It is just like genuinely giving a shit about these kids. Our next tier is that recovery programming. We've taken it a step further. Recovery doesn't just mean substance-related things. It is those building those mindfulness skills, practicing gratitude, setting goals, doing physical activity, working on your health and wellness, but also giving them an opportunity to be kids, and that's what our evening activities are. It's a lot of crafts, it's a lot of laser tag. It is, honestly, if they say it, we'll do it. The behavioral interventions, like Louis said, those are coping strategies. Like, let's have as many opportunities in this program that are as real world as possible when you're in this little bubble, so that you've tried these coping strategies enough times that when you go out into community and you are triggered, it's more accessible.
Yeah, and I think what stood out for me is that it's like it was so individualized in the data. When you start talking to people about what moves the needle in the moment, day in, day out on a really granular level, it's like anything from, there was one kid that really just liked staff to pull up memes on their phone to distract them when they were trying to use substances, and that was the technique that moved the needle for that youth. But again, this probably would fit into, you probably would see a lot of these techniques in anything like Smart Recovery, CBT skills, DBT skills, that kind of thing. That arrow. There we go.
So we're getting into the more woo-woo stuff, and the stuff that makes me really excited. At SRP, we work really close with medical professionals in our community. We support youth in, continuing to utilize, mood stabilizers and things like that, but also OAT and safe supply. That's really important to us. Even if there are some substances on board, that still is recovery. Again, it is decided by the youth who are in our program. And sometimes those medications can make things like coping strategies more accessible. And here's where it gets juicy. The substance-related interventions, as you will recall, our ages are 15 to 21, but we do allow youth to use some substances in our programs, including cannabis and nicotine. As you can imagine, a lot of youth who are coming to us to work on their meth or opiate use are not interested in talking about their nicotine or cannabis use, and that actually is a really helpful strategy. All of those uses of substances are intentional. There are questions that go along with it that draw focus inside that youth. What's happening for you? What are you hoping to achieve? How did that work for you? And you'll see that there is a graph here that is just a representation of one youth in our program, but it's representative of many of the youth in our program, that the longer they're in our program, all substance use, including that of cannabis and nicotine, decreases significantly. And you'll see some spikes in there, and those are usually around where do I go next? Having some anxieties of where am I going to be housed? I've done all this work. I'm going very quick because I just got the 5-minute warning, but the final tippy top of our pyramid is planned slips and supervised use. We recognize that slips and relapse are a part of this. And if a youth comes to us and says, hey, Casey, I am really struggling and I am wanting to go out and use my drug of choice, I say thank you. Thank you for feeling brave enough to tell me that. I'm gonna try and engage you in all those other levels of this pyramid and see if maybe those coping strategies work. But ultimately, if a youth wants to use, we will take them to use substances because, again, we believe that dead kids don't recover. And we want to do what we can to make sure that they come back alive.
Yeah, and I think just to finish that thought, I think what struck me is just how I feel like there's so much structure and flexibility that's provided in these kinds of approaches. It's not that we want the youth to be escalated to the point of needing to use their drug of choice. It's not valorized or, that's not a sign of a great day at SRP, but they are able to. So we kind of came up with this somewhat cheesy rendition of the model, knowing that this is a housing-focused conference, and SRP does have a housing-first approach. The goal of this model is to keep youth engaged in the house. So we don't, again, necessarily want youth escalating if we can avoid it. Again, still approaching it with non-judgment, accepting that these things do happen, but still also, being able to kind of attach some non-preferred language to it. Again, we don't want this, but we're there for you if this happens. We say, we put the planned slips and supervised use at the top because if it's a house, it's an attic. No one wants to spend time in the attic if they can avoid it. Ironically, there's probably the highest chance that they're being contaminated substances. We want youth living in the comfy living quarters, but that's not the reality of the youth that Threshold is serving. So it's really, I think, in my mind, really admirable that you guys accompany the youth on that journey all the way up the pyramid, but then also all the way back down. That was the other thing that struck me, is that at every intervention that involves letting a kid smoke or letting a kid use cannabis or letting a kid use a drug of choice, it's also accompanied by a plan to get back down to living the life that these youth want to live. One thing that really struck me in the data was the use of, in a non-kind of, in a non-stigmatizing sense, a normal life. The kids really wanted to, talked a lot about wanting to, just what would a normal kid be doing right now? I want to be doing the things. I want to be going to school. I want to be getting a job. I don't necessarily want to be using methamphetamines. But again, the power of this structure, of this model, is that it does give youth a path forward. Ironically, I think a lot of kids, when they go to abstinence treatment programs, do get discharged out of the attic. No one gets kicked out of a abstinence only program because things are going too well. It's because you used, and now you're out of our program and good luck out on the street. Which again is a really cool thing that from what I've seen over the last couple of years, Threshold does everything and then some imaginable to prevent from happening. That is to say, abstinence only does still have a place. From the scan I did for my research, it was about 50% of the programs in BC. About half of them are abstinence only, half of them are non-abstinence. Again, our goal here is just to provide a framework and a structure and an explanation to what non-abstinence programming does look like and could look like. Because I think we have a pretty good idea of what abstinence only is. So in closing, we don't want this model to be monolithic. We don't want this to be the only thing that recovery could look like. Obviously, we're passionate about it as a viable option. We've seen it work. Ironically, one of the most at-risk students I had in my teaching career is currently at SRP and absolutely thriving. And if, whenever you have a conversation with people who look down on these kinds of approaches and think about people as lost causes, this kid at 15 would have been that. And this kid at 17, 18? 19 is going to college, no longer involved in crime, no longer using substances or drugs of choice, and just living like an unimaginably flourishing life compared to where we were a few years ago. So to Casey's point, dead kids don't recover. If we gave up on that guy, he wouldn't be doing the amazing things he is doing now. So this is a really viable option. And it's, I think, really meeting that need, that middle ground for youth who aren't ready maybe for abstinence and maybe never will be ready for abstinence, but can still improve their lives and achieve their goals. So in terms of next steps, again, we're biased. We think this is a good model, but replicating it elsewhere if needed. We do think it is, it's pretty modular. Like if there's an organization that doesn't want to do planned slips, I think the model still works without that. You can provide the other tiers of support. If there's ways to adapt it or improve on it, that's awesome. I'm just a lowly master's student, so by no means do I think it's the end-all be-all of addictions research. And I think, this has come up a few times today, continued advocacy to keep these options viable because they are so under threat right now. Again, that's not to poo-poo abstinence only, but that is to put in a strong plug for these kinds of programs meeting the needs of people who need them. Anything to add?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
We have about 5 minutes for Q&A, so questions.
Come up there, I got a big
I
voice.
can bring it.
I got a big voice.
I think they're trying to finish it. Here you go.
Speaking from a recovering addict, that is almost 18 years now, if someone would have gave up on me, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today. So especially now with our use, I think that there has to be a line though, like they can't just keep, every day say I'm slipping, but a minor slip and then sit down, have a discussion. And because this is the next generation that's coming up. And like you said, the kid that went to college, look at me. I'm the big manager at Abbey House now. So, I think that people do have that stigma of, no, you can't use, you can't do this. I get things slip and fall, you know what I mean? People get carried away because now they have their own place and they can do what they want there. But I think if they know that they have support and people that are really encouraging them and not making them live that slip that they did, that I think that, it'll be, they'll do wonderful things.
Yeah, okay, you can hear me. I absolutely love your point of this can't be an everyday thing. Our goal is to keep them on those main floors, and there is a line. You have to be in our program wanting to work on recovery. If you are returning to daily use, then this probably isn't the place, but we'll still find you a place to go. The data that we've collected over the last year, we've had about 20-ish kids come through the program, and only 5 of those have engaged in that planned slip process. The planned slip process is actually quite laborious. It's we're going to make a plan. We're going to do a cost benefits analysis. I'm going to make you do some hokey pokies. Like, let's try these things. And only about 50% of those 5 actually got to the point of using that substance. So if you have that foundation of relation, you're actually, even though it's an option, it's not actually being used that much, but it's keeping the kids in the house to engage. So, yeah, and they're the coolest people I've ever met. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay.
Hi there. My question is around the child welfare system and how have you either managed or negotiated with that system to allow you to do this?
Yeah, child welfare, police, parents. We have a really great lawyer we consult with, and at the end of the day, we have worked with those organizations to let them know what we are actually doing and how it works in practice. But we do assume that there is risk involved in this process. And I'm very fortunate because I have a really amazing executive director. We assume that there's risk and we are okay with that because we feel like that is the right thing for the youth in our community. But if you would like some specifics of how we handled that, shoot me an email. I'd love to chat more. Yeah. I really, this is my child. I don't have real human children. And so, I'm happy to share our policies, our procedures. I'm happy to gab at you for as long as you will let me. I will tour you around. You just let me know. Shoot me an email. I really mean it.
No, absolutely, because in our province, there's an organization that was not only shut down, but their staff were charged.
Yeah.
So just kind of curious how you guys have gone around that.
It's a much bigger conversation of how we've navigated it, but there are ways to do it. And I also recognize that there are provinces in our country that make this really, really hard. And that's okay. The one thing to know is I'm not actually giving these kids drugs. They're getting the drugs. I'm standing a block and a half away so that I can Narcan them if they go down. And so that has been a really important piece of this puzzle is I'm not actually, call me.
I love your passion.
Thank you. I love you. I love all of you. Yeah, thanks for coming. Okay.
Yes, I was wondering how would you figure out how to implement lift-based experiences in the next steps?
Yeah, so that is I think peer support is a really important piece of recovery. Like I said, community. Right now, all of our recovery content has been created with the youth who have come through our program, but certainly as we are still a baby program, that is something I really want to lean into. We try to find ways that youth that Lewis was chatting about, he's now facilitating our recovery groups. He's in month 4, and so he's kind of taking the other kids under his wing. And so we're trying to put it in, but I want to be have a more formal process. So maybe next year at CAH I'll have an answer that's better. So thanks, guys.
That was awesome. Thank you. So the next presenters who are going to make their way up is going to be from the Helix Foundation for Children and Youth, and it's Kate Butler and the youth team. So we will have a panel, and I'll let you take it away.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be joining you guys today. We're all from Toronto, which is on Treaty 13 territory. We're really grateful to live and work on that land. You're actually not really hearing from me today. I'm the president of Helix, but it's our youth team who are ages 18 to 24, to my left here, who are going to be presenting a brand new resource. You guys are the first people to see it. We're officially launching it today here at the conference. Yay! So I'm going to pass around little cards where you can scan and see it on your phone if you'd like. But we also have screen grabs, and their team's going to take you through what we've done. So on that note, I will pass it over to George, who is going to introduce himself and then introduce the rest of the team. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to this panel. My name is Georgiana Mori. I joined the Helix Foundation's Youth Advisory Team because I wanted to use my social impact background to support to support vulnerable people. And I'll let the other members of my team introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. Is this on? Wait, okay. My name is Joy. I'm a copywriter, and I'm a youth with lived experience, and my purpose is to make this life path a little less lonely and a little less difficult than how I found it.
Hi everyone, my name is Abe, and the purpose for joining was because I really wanted to use my personal experience to help youth who have learning disabilities and mental conditions, and just really give them a safe space and a way out of it.
Hello everyone, my name is Itata and one of the youth advisory team member. As a public speaker, I joined this team to use my personal experience to create more positive impact for youth and to advocate for them, and to, pretty much that.
Hi, my name is Elle Rosen, and I joined this team to become part of the supports that I needed once.
We are with Helix, which launched in 2020 with the aims of contributing to research, advocacy programs, and increasing public discourse on youth resilience. We believe that all youth deserve to experience happy and healthy childhoods. Unfortunately, with the current reality, many lack the opportunity needed to reach their full potential. With youth representing more than 10% of the homeless population in Toronto and 32% of more than 15,000 currently homeless citywide reporting that they have been homeless since they were 16, we needed to focus our efforts there. Helix creates real changes alongside youth organizations that serve them and their allies. The 2025 Youth Advisory Team, of which we are a part, is only the first cohort, and hopefully there is more to come. We are excited to present the resource we've developed, and hopefully you will see the hope, passion, and energy we have brought into this project.
Sorry, it took me so long. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of our presentation agenda. So first thing is first, the youth advisory team members. So what brought us here and what our shared goal was to start building this website. And next thing would be the challenges that we faced while building this website, and also how we addressed them, like the process. And what is the youth residency hub really is. It's like the website, and my other fellow team member will walk you through the website, the services we give, and what makes us unique. We know there are some other websites that are giving the same function, but what makes us different and what makes us unique will be also presented by my other fellow members, and the potential ideas that we have for the future and what we want to add. So the next thing would be our team. So Helix invited 8 youths that are aged between 17 and 25 to join this inaugural youth advisory team. And we started meeting virtually in the spring 2025, and we had a consecutive meetings having our original goal to help Helix improve its understanding of youth priorities. As I said, we all have lived experiences facing those challenges. So the other pivotal goals and format we had was that we were interested in creating not just something that is offering advice, but more of making a difference. With that being said, decision-making process entirely prioritizes the youth perspective and experiences to give something that is more and actually practical for our other peers passing through the same challenge. Thank you.
We came into this recognizing that this was going to be difficult. What can we really do with the limited resources ourselves that we had to create a tangible change? We knew what problems we had faced, what we watched our peers face, but we still had a lot of questions. So at the top of our list, obviously, is housing, but that is quickly followed by racism, underemployment or straight up unemployment, familial abuse, and discrimination for a host of other random justifications. Nearly 80% of youth in Toronto shelters identify as one racialized group or another, 24% of them as queer, and 12% as Indigenous. The rates of mental illness, distress reported, and suicidal attempts are insane and beyond anyone's wildest imagination, I hope. Over 40% of homeless youth report having at least one attempt. I know I'm throwing all these numbers at y'all, but these aren't just numbers. I tried 8 times. That's nuts. So basically we took Reddit, we reimagined it, and we hope that it's gonna serve us and other youth experiencing similar things, really. So how we actually got here. So, like my colleague said, all of us here on the board have experience with at least some, if not all, of the challenges we laid out for you. But we still had questions. So in the current system, we rely a lot on social workers. Whether or not they have that title officially, it doesn't really matter. But they don't know everything. And please don't get me wrong, we know they are overworked and underpaid. And we appreciate all of the efforts. They're amazing. But we as youth in the system are highly dependent on what they know. So what resources you get access to, just whether or not your worker knew about it. That's pretty much the only deciding factor. So we want youth to have the answers they need, even when they don't know what questions to ask or how to navigate the system themselves. So we decided what would serve us best and also what we could reasonably achieve with the time and resources that we had was space and community. A space where we could be honest and review the services, people's experiences that we have, leave insights for others, give updates on what's offered, what's open, what to ask. And we knew this was going to be a lot. We have a small team, so we couldn't do this alone. We connected with Northern Villages, a B Corp focused on creating software primarily for the social benefit sector. And they did all of the back-end development while we worked on what information we wanted to see on there, formatting all of the pretty little frills. So now my colleague is going to walk you through our website.
Alrighty, so as mentioned, this is a site for youth by youth. So there are lots of sites featuring individual shelters or services, but having to go through all that information is tough. And you can't find things like youth reviews or things that are helpful and honest. So we want to give young people the information they need when they need it, all in one place. So this is our homepage. As you can see, there is going to be an introduction, a donate section, and a link to our social medias. And this is our about section. It's just going to be a very quick summary of who we are and our team. So next is our 4 main categories. That would be youth shelters, mental health support, employment, and blogs. So when you click on a category, multiple organizations will come up. When the youth clicks on one, they will see a summary of the organization, and it will come up with its hours, location, and website. This is an example right over here in the back. That is Covenant House. And as you can see the quick summary of what Covenant House is, its location, and its hours, and a link to its website. Perfect. So we decided to include an accessibility checklist and that was meant to help youth know if a service is a good suit for them. As we know, some things may be deal breakers, such as dietary options, LGBTQ safe spaces, and religious options. So we also have our blog. So in our blog, we will be including we will be including blogs written by our wonderful member, Joy. And we are looking to expand it for any at-risk or homeless youth that wants to participate. So our blogs will introduce free or low-cost activities in the Greater Toronto areas, advice on how to stay safe in crowds, and what it's like to be at a shelter for the first time, and tips. So we have our service review section. So our service review section will include a commenting system, which will be the first of its kind in the Greater Toronto area for social services. It will allow youth to give their honest opinions and reviews on social services and programs. We want youth to feel like their voice makes an impact without it affecting their safety and privacy. Alrighty, so what makes our website unique? So there are lots of subcategories with specific shelter names that support youth, whether it be sponsors or staff. We weren't usually the goal audience. We are here to give power to youth and to be seen. We want to empower young people by giving them a place to have a hand in healing, and youth will no longer have to fill in the missing information themselves. And next, we will be talking about the expected impact.
So our expectations, like our goals, are lofty, but we hope we've created a space that is safe and inclusive, that will connect youth to essential supports. We've all been there, and we hope that our platform reflects our needs and meets them. And we want to build on the feeling of belonging and hope that our team has created and help young people when they need it the most. So what that also means is that what's next for us? Where do we go from here? We've built this platform now, but it would be lovely to start to provide peer mentorship, community events, resources for affordable phone plans, devices, Wi-Fi, donation sites, financial literacy courses, and even provide funding for emergency funds or rent. But most of all, we want to also share success stories of other youth to inspire and empower. We would also love to partner with other agencies in the community that already exist to spread the word and have more youth sign up. So yeah, ultimately, we want to ensure that no youth slip through the gaps while all these wonderful initiatives are being taken and funded. Yeah, and that brings us to the conclusion. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll take any questions.
As you guys can see, there's our links to our social media in case you guys want to follow them.
Awesome. Q&A.
Hi, my name is Zach. I'm with Avenir Jeune Plus. We're a coalition buying for youths in Montreal here, and we have a lot of projects. But what I recognize through your website is that it's something that could be reapplied to any province. Is there a plan to make that Canada-wide eventually, or is that not yet in the plans?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, we're starting with downtown Toronto because that's where we're located, and that's where most of us have had our lived experiences, so we're very familiar with the system there and resources. But yes, absolutely. The plan is to expand to other cities and make this as widely accessible as possible.
My name's Ramon. I just have a few comments rather than questions. And I also want to say thank you for the work that you're doing, for being youth and working with youth. And that's something that I like to see happen in our communities and where we're from and where we represent. And, you know, there's a prophecy about what the youth are doing nowadays, the seventh fire prophecy. And we carry that as First Nations people, but it's more than just for First Nations. It's this generation of young people that are going to make change. And this generation of young people, this change that I'm seeing is unlike anything. And all you guys are a part of that. And in the future, I would like to work with you guys I like to bring my events and services and just things to do with the youth down in Toronto, but all over Ontario as well. And yeah, keep going. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome comment.
I know you're a hard act to follow now. Wow. I just want to say thank you because it is the youth. Oh, hello? Okay, sorry. I just want to say thank you because it is the youth that are changing this generation. Right now, if we didn't have all of you that were dedicated to helping youth, I don't know where this world would be, so a little bit emotional, but I'm really grateful and thank you, and don't give up. Believe in yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments? No? All right. Thank you. Amazing work. Awesome job. Awesome. Great. Thank you, and we're doing great on time, so what a great group. Thank you all so far. Next is going to be Shailene Brass and Marion McKenzie, and they're going to talk about the Yellow Shawl program. Here you go.
Well, following that group, my gosh. And I'm a crier, so I was sitting over there going, how am I going to do this and get up there without crying? So I'm Marion McKenzie, and I'm the Program Support Manager for the Mawi Center in Winnipeg, Treaty 1 territory, and I am First Nation from the Treaty 5 territory, where I've got maternal roots as well. And so in order to talk about Mawi, and we get to the talking about Yellow Shawl, you need to know who Mawi is. And the Mawi Center is, in Ojibwe, translate to we all work together to help one another. And that truly is the heart of the work that we do. Excuse me. And we've been around for over 40 years in the community, and it began, here's where I'll probably cry, it began with one child that was taken too early while in care, and we had a number of community advocates that came together and said, no more, like enough is enough, and this can't continue to happen to our Indigenous children. And so they came together and they decided we wanted to create an organization that was not mandated, that we can advocate for our families and have a say in the way we do our work and how we listen to our community to be able to ensure that work gets done in a good way. And so that brings us to today. We have over 52 programs. We operate in the north end of Winnipeg, and yep, we got a Manitoban over here. And so 52 programs. That's a lot of different things that we do, and they range from, baby to elder, and within that we've got youth programs, and we have one of the largest youth programs in Winnipeg that operate, and that ranges from sexual health and powwow program to supporting families with reunification and intervention, family violence prevention programs, children in care, the whole gamut. And by doing that work, we do it from a space that we meet people where they're at. You don't come to Mawi and we say you have to be at this point before we start supporting you. You come to us with the gifts that you have on this journey that you're at, and we will work with you from that point on. And you know what, if you continue to flourish, maybe one day you'll be like many of our staff that come to us with experiential work, and they volunteer, and then they end up becoming, part of our team. We have over 200 staff, primarily Indigenous folks, and we're really, really proud to be able to share that. So I think I've covered everything. And now we're here this week to talk about our Yellow Shawl program, which is our housing program for youth that are aging out of the care of the CFS system and how we can support them. So there we go. So Shay's going to do this part. I didn't change my slides. See, I just get talking and that's it.
Sorry, Shay. So this is kind of just what Marion talked about here. I'm just going to click through it. I apologize just to begin with because I'm not a public speaker, so I'm probably just going to read my notes and not look at any of you. But I'm the team lead for the Yellow Shawl program. I just started, came back to Mawi. I'm one of those people that started as a youth and came back and left multiple times, and now I'm back again, back in February. Just to talk a little bit about Yellow Shawl, it started in 2016, and the name Yellow Shawl was gifted to the program and ceremony shortly after. Within the name, yellow represents the color of the east and the beginning of a new day, and the shawl represents the blanket of protection we offer to our youth. Yellow Shawl is an innovative youth housing program designed to support the life and educational goals of male, female, and two-spirit youth ages 16 to 21 who are in need of safe and supportive housing. We primarily support Indigenous youth, but have also supported non-Indigenous youth that are from our community. Through mentorship, we help our youth grow independently by introducing healthy, sustainable daily routines. We accomplish this by providing time to complete goal-setting sessions, develop budgeting strategies, learning how to cook, and develop various other important independent life skills. Where the need for Yellow Shawl came from. We recognize that a large number of youth were struggling with their education due to not having a stable, safe place to call home. We know children in care is a pipeline to homelessness, and when youth get to 16 years old, typically CFS workers are already spending less time with the youth who are going to age out of care. Because of this, we have taken youth as young as 15 into the program through the self-referral process, and in this particular case, the youth was not in a stable family environment with their biological family. However, he did have a sibling that was already a participant in the Yellow Shawl program. Yellow Shawl recently opened a two-spirit home in the spring of this year, after only having specifically male and female homes. The two-spirit home was developed after recognizing the need for a home tailored to a two-spirit youth's unique needs. The first 3 youth who were moved into the two-spirit home are still there, and they agreed to move in after deciding they would feel more comfortable in a space designated specifically for two-spirit or LGBT youth. At this time, currently Yellow Shawl has 5 homes in 3 locations, 1 two-spirit home, 2 female homes, and 2 male homes. What do we offer? Our program offers safe, stable housing, on-site support provided by a live-in mentor, which I'll touch on a little bit later, mentorship, advocacy, and navigation provided by youth support helpers. The youth support helpers help participants in finding and navigating outside programs and systems such as Addictions Foundation of Manitoba, EIA, Manitoba Housing, and any other needs that are identified on an individual basis. What do we offer in our homes? Our homes are fully furnished to create a warm, nurturing, and welcoming place of safety and security. We include all general cleaning and upkeep supplies on hand and at no cost to the participants. Each youth bedroom suite includes all new furniture, a new mattress, bed frame, nightstand, dresser, and mirror. We also include kind of like a hygiene basket, bedroom, like bed linens and a pillow and like any kind of startup stuff that they might need. A lot of the youth who enter the program don't have much besides clothing and some personal items, so having a whole bedroom set really sets them up to be able to make the space their own. Who qualifies for the program? Any youth between the ages of 16 and 21, which includes male, female, and two-spirit youth, and youth as young as 15, depending on the circumstances. This youth must be drug and alcohol free, although we do know that they're young and that it's inevitable that a youth will go down that path at some point or another, and we do our best to support them in a healthy, holistic lifestyle. We can also support them in finding addictions programs and other cultural programs. Also, another requirement is that the youth must be enrolled in school or working in a full-time capacity. We are also able to accept youth in care. So the referral process. If you have a youth you'd like to refer, there are a number of ways to do that. We can accept self-referrals as well as referrals from any other organization as well as anything within Mawi. To begin, you must fill out a Yellow Shawl referral package. You can call or email Mawi to receive this package. Once the referral package is reviewed, an initial meeting is held with the potential youth, and if a spot is available and the youth decides that the program is a good fit for them, a move-in plan is created, paperwork is completed, and house values are discussed and agreed to. We try to keep this process as barrier and stress-free as possible for the youth applying. This initial meeting is also just to find out where they're at and to identify what supports they may need and what supports they may already have, because a lot of our youth are coming to us without any IDs or anything or bank accounts, so a lot of the times they need help with that as well. Where are we located? We currently have 5 homes that are being used by the program. Right now we can't increase our homes due to lack of housing within the city. Our homes are located in the inner city neighborhoods of Winnipeg, where a lot of the youth in the program attend school. All of the homes are close to major bus lines, so youth who attend school or work outside of the neighborhood can easily get to where they need to be. The Yellow Shawl homes are designed to support the life and educational goals of youth while providing safe and supportive housing. It is important we employ support staff and mentors that will create an environment for youth to flourish and thrive while supporting their growth into strong, confident, and independent Indigenous youth. The live-in mentors are there to provide guidance, support, mentorship, and to be someone to be there for the youth. We also have student support helpers who help the youth achieve their goals, support the mentors and youth. These helpers provide support navigating systems and ensuring that they find the youth support through those systems. For the live-in mentors, we have even looked to current participants who are showing great independence and are demonstrating leading a healthy, balanced life. Our current female mentor, Viola, for one of the houses, was a past participant and really is able to connect with the youth in the home and be able to be someone for them to lean on, as she has direct lived experience having previously been a participant in the program. We try our best to create a comfortable and safe atmosphere in the homes, celebrating holidays and decorating the homes, enjoying meals together, and the youth are growing into independent youth, and we try to create a space where they're able to create a new family within the home, and they're able to grow to care for each other. What services do we have available? Low-cost housing. Youth live in shared accommodations. We have 5 units, and each unit is gender specific. Rent is paid through EIA or CFS agencies. They're expected to purchase their own food, clothing, and hygiene products. Meals can be shared or on their own. Special holidays are celebrated together, giving a real sense of family. The live-in mentor. A mature live-in mentor shares accommodations with the youth to provide on-site mentorship of basic life skills and day-to-day support. The daytime support helpers. Monday to Friday, 8 hours per day, a helper is available to assist with resource navigation, problem solving, outings, and etc. Helpers will also advocate for the youth with various systems like schools or EIA. Recreational opportunities. Youth are provided with the opportunity to activity plan and attend various events and activities which are part of the provided programming of Yellow Shawl. Cultural opportunities. Youth are provided with the opportunity to participate in cultural activities such as full moon ceremonies, sweats, naming ceremonies, and cultural teachings. Skills development. Youth are taught how to do laundry, budget, problem solve, and navigate resources. Mawi programming. All Mawi programming is available to the youth. Cultural opportunities. Youth are provided with the opportunity to participate in cultural activities such as full moon ceremonies, sweats, naming ceremonies, and cultural teachings. Youth are regaining their culture through ceremonies and cultural teachings. The disconnect to culture for the youth stems from the residential school system, loss of connection to their home and communities, and the effects of the 60s scoop. If people know who they are or where they come from, they can better understand how they can move forward in a good way. I'm going to talk about some of our success stories now. Knox is one of our first participants in the Two-Spirit home. He went into a ceremony as a helper, and because he was curious to see how everything worked before committing to dancing in the ceremony. Knox was asked to participate in the ceremony when someone else wasn't able to and rose to the opportunity. The opportunity came at a time where Knox was struggling with other aspects in his life, And being able to participate in the ceremony really connected him with his culture and other people or ceremony family who he is able to lean on when he may be struggling again. Once Knox returned from his ceremony, we had a traditional feast for him and gifted him his first pair of moccasins. Knox has since participated in many other cultural opportunities and shown a real interest in learning and sharing cultural knowledge. Viola, as previously mentioned, was a previous youth who was asked to be the live-in mentor as she had shown incredible growth while in the program. She was recognized for being a role model. Viola is currently going to school to complete her grade 12, all while maintaining her role as live-in mentor, and also teaching POW dancing, drumming, and singing in Winnipeg as well as northern communities. Viola is also a part of Mawi's Sacred Seven Youth Council. Gordon was a previous youth who successfully graduated out of the Yellow Shawl program. He went on to join the Navy and went to school to become an engineer while doing so. He has traveled the world. Gordon returned to Mawi this spring and shared his story with the youth support helpers and the team lead, who was myself, and expressed how thankful he was for the program, as without it, he's not sure where he would have ended up. He shared that Yellow Shawl came into his life at a time where his family was unable to support him, and now his goal is to give back and share about Yellow Shawl at any opportunity. And that's it.
Questions?
Is it me? Oh. I was just going to ask you, you have 5 houses, and how many participants in each house are?
Right now, in each house, there are 3 youth and 1 live-in mentor, so we have 4 bedrooms. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh, wow.
Thank you for your presentation. I was just curious, for the youth who they either need to be enrolled in school or full-time employment, do you have partnerships set up already that for youth to enter into the workforce, or how has that part of the program gone as far as helping youth enter the workforce?
Right now, we don't have any partnerships. A lot of that is kind of done with the youth support helpers, Charmaine and Kodiak. They really, they help them with their resume, they help them with a cover letter, they help job searching, they help them they drive them to interviews. We give bus tickets whenever we can. We help them with shopping if they need help, or figuring out what they would need for an interview or anything.
I think also it's important that the helpers, they really advocate with the education system. So many of the kids, especially in our area, some of the educators are not setting our youth up for success. They're just getting them to graduate, but not giving them the right or helping support them to envision what classes they need to go on to post-secondary or anything. So our helpers really, really advocate and, try and get to know the youth as best they can so that they can understand what it is their goals are, so that we can be those advocates. And I don't know how many times I've walked into the office and Shay and Charmaine are talking about this guidance counselor that they went up against because they were advocating for this youth that didn't know they had someone there to be a voice for them. Mm-hmm.
I apologize if I missed it, but how long is your Yellow Shawl program? That was my only question.
Like, how long can people be in the program, or how long?
Basically, as long as they need to be, as long as they're within or around our age range. That's kind of it. Otherwise, once they're kind of nearing that 20, 21, we connect them with other Mawi programs, which are helping them with finding independent, their own apartments and places like that.
We have gone up to 24 in some cases because of the circumstance that the youth may have identified at that point. But we have our We Chew In program, which helps find, safe, secure housing long-term afterwards. And they're just because, once you're in the door with Mawi, we really don't let you go. So you get to participate in any other programs, and you can stay there and access anything else while you're on your journey with us.
Also from Winnipeg.
Hey!
I guess that kind of answers my question too, because there is the option of being turned away because you're not qualified. Yeah. Do you set them up with other programs or resource other areas? I was just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, absolutely. Our goal is we never want someone to walk in our doors and leave empty-handed, whether they're currently in a program or they're transitioning out of a program, or if somebody's coming in, they've walked in the door because they need emergency food, we'll do that, but we'll also get to know them. And, Mawi's been around for over 40 years, and that trust that we've built with community, it helps spark that a little bit sooner, that people will share information with us so that we can help support them. And they may not even know we have certain programs. You have 52. Like, who remembers that?
We're not far from you. North Point Douglas.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks for your presentation. It was really awesome. I'm really intrigued by the youth mentors in your program. And are they like a staff, or how are you supporting them to support those other youth that are in your program?
Right now, our live-in mentors are technically contractors. They are paid for their time and living there. They aren't charged rent. They aren't charged utilities, Wi-Fi, or anything like cleaning supplies, same as a youth. They do also get time off once a month, and we have a couple of great respite people that come in and help them take that time off. And if they need help with anything, like Marian said, we're able to set them up with any kind of Mawi program that they might want or need. So
that's really cool. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? All right. Awesome. Well, let's give them a hand. And also to all the presenters. Did super great, everybody. This was probably one of my favorite sessions. So if anyone has questions, I'm sure you can come up and ask the presenters as they are here. Otherwise, have a good rest of your evening.